the King, the Master, the Sustainer, the Creator of the seven heavens and the earth, and we send peace and blessings upon His beloved Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. My brothers and sisters, there used to be a time in history where things were very clear and people would not argue about them. I'll give you an example. There used to be a time when someone was obese, fat, like myself. It was clear why the man was fat. It wasn't something people used to talk about. The man is fat because he eats too much, he doesn't exercise, he's eating at the wrong times. It was known, it was ma'ruf, it was common knowledge. People didn't sit there and get into the theory as to why the man is fat. It's pretty clear. But today, we no longer live in that time. Today we live in a time when the reason and the excuses for me being obese has to do with anything and everything except me. You see, when I got married, I was 90 kilos. Now I'm 130. I weigh as much as a Hilux. And God forbid I should put my hand up and say that the reason why I weigh so much is because I eat too much. No. Wallahi, I point the finger at anyone and everyone except myself. My wife, my in-laws, I travel too much, I do this, I do that. Paint whatever picture you want. The truth and the haqq is that you're overweight because of your own actions and nothing and no one else. Like the man that went to there was an obese man that went to the doctor. An obese man went to the doctor. So he goes to the doctor and he's going there for a random blood test or whatever the case is. So when the results came in, naturally like what we do, yeah? He says to him, "Doctor, obesity runs in the family." Doctor says to him, "Brother, it's not obesity that runs in the family." He says, "No one runs in your family." Today, my brothers, we live in a time and in an era where nobody wants to put their hands up and say and take responsibility. Today, we live in a time, wallahi, we want deen, we want takeaway deen. We want drive-through deen. I want to come to the masjid, I want to sit down for 5 minutes and you better wow me. Today the only video that goes viral around the world is any video under 7 minutes. Anything beyond that, too boring, man, too long. I want to learn Quran, I want to memorize Quran, but isn't there something quick? Isn't there something I can do online? God forbid we should sit down and do the long yards. God forbid. There used to be a time when if someone wanted to get big, it was ma'ruf, it was common knowledge. People didn't talk and argue about it. You want to get big, you had to go to the gym. And when you went to the gym, you picked up raw iron and you put the dumbbells and you put it onto the bench press and you sat down and you ate well and you worked hard. It was known. Today it's not the case. Today a brother, I don't know about here in the UK, but in Sydney, 1 week is a pencil neck. Wallahi, if the wind comes too strong, you got to pick him up down the road. Because the wind will pick him up and take him. The brother vanishes for 2-3 weeks. He comes back, he's got muscles on his ears, ya Allah, muscles on his ears. Brother, how did you get so big? Oh, tuna and potato, bro. All the symptoms of steroids are all over his face. But he's trying to convince me that he got big because he's having tuna and potatoes. And when you take shortcuts, when your deen becomes drive-through deen, you know what happens? There's side effects when you take steroids. There's side effects. We're living in a time, my brothers, you know the condition of the Ummah. I challenge anyone here to stand up and tell me, brother, I'm happy and I'm content with the condition of the Ummah. But whose fault is it? Whose responsibility is the Ummah? Whose responsibility is this community that you and I live in? Every single person here will stand up and give me 150 names off the top of his head, and not one of those names will be himself. That the problem with the Ummah, the problem with this, that and the other is because of the ulama, because of the mashayikh, because of the da'is, because of the seniors, because of the committees of our masjid. They're too old school, they don't allow us to do this and they don't allow us to do that. And it's this, that and the other. But God forbid, any one of you should be man enough to stand up and say that the problem with the Ummah is people like me. Responsibility has left the Muslims now. We've become pansies, that's what we've become. There used to be a time in the